There's a certain kind of tension that shows up in life when something unresolved is quietly demanding attention. It doesn't always come with clarity. Instead, it feels like restlessness, like your thoughts keep circling a moment you can't quite name. It might make you notice yourself replaying old conversations, wondering what someone else might be thinking or feeling, even without any real confirmation. Sometimes the mind builds stories around uncertainty, especially when emotions are involved, filling in gaps with meaning that feels almost too specific to ignore. In those moments, it's easy to believe that someone else is on the edge of a decision about you, that your life is being quietly evaluated in the background. But more often, what's actually happening is more grounded and human. People are complicated, relationships are layered, and silence can be just as loud as action. Someone from your past or present may indeed be reflecting on what you meant to them, weighing whether to reconnect or step back, but those choices are rarely as dramatic or predetermined as they feel from the inside. What matters most is how you respond to that uncertainty. Instead of waiting for a sign or assigning meaning to every emotional ripple, it can help to focus on what is real, what is known, and what you can actually influence. Your story doesn't hinge on someone else's hidden decision. It continues through your own clarity, boundaries, and choices moving forward. Even when uncertainty feels loud, the most stabilizing shift comes from returning to your own priorities, instead of trying to decode signals that may never fully be clear or confirmed. That's why their hesitation feels so loud. They're not afraid of losing you. They're afraid of how deeply they could end up needing you. And here's the twist, the real twist, something you haven't even considered yet. This person believes that choosing you will demand a version of themselves they've never shown anyone. Not because you expect it, but because their soul knows that you deserve something real, something steady, something that doesn't break you the way life already has. They're afraid of disappointing you, afraid of not being enough, afraid of stepping in and then losing their own heart in the process. But despite all that fear, they keep circling back. They keep thinking of you. They keep replaying the smallest signs, the little moments, the things you said without thinking. And whether they admit it or not, their decision is almost final. The clock is ticking. The energy around them is tightening. And the universe, yes, the very reality around you, is pushing them toward a truth they can't escape anymore. Someone is making a big decision about you, and it's going to rewrite something you thought was already set in stone. My beloved child, something inside you already knows this decision is reaching its peak. You can feel it in the way your days suddenly feel heavier, your night strangely louder. This person has been holding back a truth so powerful that if spoken aloud, it could flip the direction of both your lives. They've been pacing through their own mind, trying to figure out whether stepping toward you will finally calm the storm inside them or pull them deeper into it. They're terrified because they know your presence isn't casual. You're not a passing phase. You're the kind of soul that shakes a person awake, forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding for years. And they've reached a point now where the weight of silence is louder than the fear of action. They can't keep pretending they're unaffected. They can't keep pretending they don't feel something that keeps pulling them deeper every day. Here's the truth they won't admit out loud. They've already tried to forget you. More than once. They tried distracting themselves, burying the thoughts, convincing themselves that moving on would be easier. But every attempt failed. Every time they tried to let you go, life threw a sign right back in their face. Your name, your voice, old memories resurfacing like ghosts demanding to be acknowledged. And the more they resisted, the more obvious it became. Choosing you isn't just emotional, it's inevitable. They feel like the universe has cornered them, whispering that no matter where they run, they'll end up right back at your door. That's why they're scared. Because this decision isn't about attraction or curiosity. It's about surrendering to something real, something rare, something that doesn't happen twice in a lifetime. And that kind of truth forces a person to either step up or step away forever. But the part you don't know, the part you've never seen, is the battle happening inside them right now. They're afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of stepping into something so deep that there's no turning back, afraid that choosing you means exposing the parts of themselves they've always kept hidden, yet at the same time, they're afraid of losing you to someone else, afraid of waking up one day, realizing they hesitated so long that the decision was made for them, and that fear is eating them alive. Every passing moment is pushing them closer to a breaking point, a moment where they finally have to decide whether they step into the story the universe keeps nudging them toward, or walk away from the one person they can't replace. Something big is coming, bigger than they've prepared for, bigger than you expect, and the decision they're about to make, it's going to hit your life like a turning tide, changing everything you thought was certain. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. My beloved child, the moment you're stepping into right now isn't ordinary. Something around you is shifting into alignment, almost like the world has paused for a breath, waiting for this person to make their move, and deep down, whether you admit it or not, you've sensed this coming. You've felt the strange pull, the unexplainable tension, the way your intuition keeps whispering that something is about to break open. This person is standing in the middle of a choice that feels too heavy to make casually. Every memory tied to you has become louder, sharper, clearer. They're replaying moments you thought were forgotten, your smile in a crowded place, the tone of your voice on a random day, a moment where you didn't even realize they were looking. And all of this has built into a pressure they can't escape anymore. They're realizing that not choosing you might haunt them far more than choosing you ever could. What they haven't told anyone is how deeply this decision is affecting them. They've been caught in a silent struggle, a war between what feels safe and what feels right. They know that stepping toward you means stepping into a version of themselves they've never been brave enough to show. But stepping away means losing a connection that hits them on a level they can't rationalize. It scares them, how you've become the one thought they can't shut off, the one presence they can't replace. They've been trying to understand why you matter the way you do, why something about you feels like unfinished destiny, and the more they resist, the more the universe keeps dragging them back to the truth. You are the turning point. You are the moment their soul keeps circling. And whether they're ready or not, this choice is pulling them to the edge of change. But here's the real twist, the one thing you haven't considered yet. This decision they're making about you isn't just emotional. It's spiritual. It's energetic. It's the kind of decision that happens once in a lifetime, the kind that determines which path their story takes next. They're being pushed toward honesty, toward action, toward a moment they can't delay anymore. Their heart is louder than their fear now. Their intuition is stronger than their hesitation. They may be going through a moment of deep reflection, where memories, emotions, and unresolved feelings start to feel more meaningful than before. Sometimes, when someone is uncertain or emotionally overwhelmed, even small reminders, like familiar thoughts, repeated memories, or unexpected emotional triggers, can feel significant, as if they are pointing toward clarity. In reality, this is often the mind and heart trying to process attachment, regret, or curiosity about a connection that still feels important. It can create a sense that everything is, quote, leading somewhere, when it's really an inner emotional shift happening gradually. At some point, people reach a personal crossroads where they begin to question what they truly want, what they may have avoided, and what choices they might later reflect on. If someone has been distant or silent, it is often less about fate and more about timing, fear, or uncertainty in communication. And if they do decide to reach out or express themselves, it usually comes from gaining personal clarity rather than any external force. For you, this moment can feel intense because anticipation naturally amplifies emotion, making everything seem more charged than it really is. The healthiest way to hold this experience is to see it as two people possibly growing, remembering, and making sense of their feelings in their own time, rather than as something predetermined or inevitable. What unfolds next will depend on honest communication, mutual readiness, and the choices each person makes with a clear and grounded mind, not on signs or external messages guiding the outcome. You're the turning point they've been avoiding, the truth they've been running from, the choice they were always meant to make. And the pressure they're feeling right now? It's the final push. But here's where everything becomes bigger than you think. The moment they take this step, once they choose you, acknowledge you, reach for you, your own life is going to shift. Rapidly. Because this decision isn't just emotional, it's catalytic. It's the kind of decision that unlocks timelines, dismantles old patterns, and pulls you into situations you never expected. You might feel a sudden surge of clarity in the coming days, or a wave of emotional intensity you can't quite explain. You might feel restless, or unusually calm, or deeply aware of something forming around you. That's the ripple effect. That's the universe adjusting itself around the decision this person is making. And before they make their move, something inside you will sense it. A dream, a memory, a sudden thought of them stronger than usual. That's how you'll know they're close. Closer than they've ever been. And when the moment hits, it won't be subtle. It will be loud, clear, inevitable. And before this shift lands in your life, take a breath and anchor yourself, because once this decision unfolds, nothing will remain the same. This is the moment people usually miss, the moment right before everything changes, the moment where destiny starts rearranging the pieces behind the scenes. If you felt pulled to this message, it's because your soul recognized the truth before your mind did. Someone is about to choose you, not out of impulse, not out of confusion, but out of a realization so deep it shook them awake. And if this story, this unfolding, this energy resonates with even a single corner of your heart, then hold it, reflect on it, and let it settle. Because something big is coming toward you, bigger than fear, bigger than doubt, bigger than anything you've experienced in a long time. And their choice? It's already in motion. My beloved child. Right now, the air around your life feels strangely different, almost like time itself is slowing down just enough for you to notice every subtle shift. That's because this person, the one whose thoughts keep drifting toward you, has crossed over from hesitation into realization. They've stopped asking if they should choose you, and started asking how much this choice will change everything. And that's the moment everything intensifies. Their mind is spinning through memories you didn't even know mattered to them. They remember details you've forgotten, your smallest expressions, the way your voice softens when you're tired, the way your presence alters the whole energy of a room without you noticing. They're realizing that their life feels incomplete without the version of it where you exist, and the truth that once scared them is now the same truth pulling them forward. They can't imagine their story continuing without you in it. But here's the part that goes deeper than emotion. This person didn't arrive at this decision overnight. They wrestled with it, resisted it, tried to outrun it. They told themselves it was safer to stay distant, safer to pretend their feelings weren't growing, safer to act like you were just another chapter instead of the turning point. But each time they tried to disconnect, something about you broke through the noise. Your name showing up unexpectedly, a memory resurfacing without warning, a sudden thought of you that hit harder than it should. And those moments weren't random. They were reminders, echoes, signs that the connection they feel with you isn't something they can bury or outrun. It's something that keeps resurfacing because it's meant to. And now, standing at this final threshold, they're realizing something life-changing. Choosing you isn't the risk, losing you is. And now, the world is preparing for the shift their choice is about to create. You'll feel it in your energy before you see it in your reality. A sudden calm beneath the noise. A strange certainty you can't explain. a feeling that something is approaching your life with purpose and speed. Because once this person makes their decision, and they're closer than ever, your path will accelerate. Old doors will close. New ones will swing open. People who were never meant for your future will fade, and the one who hesitated for so long will step forward with a clarity they didn't have before. Their decision isn't just about stepping toward you, it's about stepping into the version of their life where they finally stop running from what's real. And when that moment arrives, it won't be quiet. It will unfold with a force, a shift, a change so unmistakable that you'll look back and realize this wasn't coincidence, it was alignment. Their choice is coming. There are moments when uncertainty about someone else's feelings can start to feel unusually intense, almost like everything around you is pointing toward an answer you can't quite confirm. You may find yourself replaying small interactions, wondering if they meant more than they seemed at the time, or if distance itself is saying something unspoken. When someone has been meaningful in your life, it's natural for memories of them to surface in unexpected ways, and for the mind to try to connect patterns where none are clearly defined. Sometimes that internal focus can make it feel as if every reminder in daily life is somehow linked back to them, even though most of it is coincidence filtered through emotion. What often sits beneath this experience is not a cosmic signal or external force, but a very human process of reflection, attachment, and curiosity about what could have been or still might be. People do revisit decisions, relationships, and unfinished conversations, and they can feel pulled between clarity and hesitation, but those processes are usually quiet, gradual, and uncertain rather than dramatic or predetermined. In the middle of that ambiguity, it becomes important not to lose yourself in imagined certainty about what someone else is thinking or choosing. The most stabilizing perspective is to stay anchored in what you actually know, what has been communicated, and what you can control in your own life moving forward, rather than assigning meaning to every emotional fluctuation or coincidence that appears along the way. What matters is how you choose to respond, with patience, clarity, and attention to your own well-being going forward today. You'll feel it before they act. A sudden wave of emotion out of nowhere. A strange heaviness that lifts just as quickly. A thought of them that hits so sharply it feels physical. These aren't coincidences. They're signals that their decision is crossing into reality. They're preparing to step into their truth, even if it scares them. Even if it means facing everything they've avoided. Even if it changes the entire path of their life. And when they finally do it, when they choose you, fully, clearly, without hesitation, you'll understand why this buildup felt so intense. Because this isn't a small shift, it's a turning point, a collision of destiny and timing, a moment that was always meant to find you. And now, it's closer than ever. My beloved child. Something powerful is happening behind the scenes, and you can feel it even if you can't explain it. This person, yes, the very one who has been trapped in their own hesitation, has entered the phase where their heart is louder than every excuse they once used to hide behind. They're no longer questioning whether they feel something for you, they're questioning how they managed to deny it for so long. The realization is hitting them with a force that's almost overwhelming. Every moment without you feels heavier. Every thought of you hits deeper. Every memory of you that resurfaces reminds them that they're not standing at a crossroads anymore, they're standing at a countdown, and the timer is almost up. Their silence has become unbearable even to themselves. They've reached the point where staying distant hurts more than stepping forward ever could. And here's what makes this moment so intense. They're starting to see the possibility of losing you. Not in a dramatic way, but in that quiet, terrifying way that happens when someone realizes they've waited too long. They're imagining you moving forward, choosing someone else, building a life that doesn't include them, and that thought shakes them to their core. It's the one vision they can't tolerate, the one possibility that forces them to rethink everything. They're replaying conversations in their head, analyzing moments they never paid attention to before, wondering if you ever felt what they felt but didn't say. And the more they try to understand, the more one truth becomes painfully clear. Choosing you isn't a risk. It's the only path that makes sense. The only one that feels right. The only one that feels like home. Now the universe is tightening every thread around them, pushing them toward the moment they've been avoiding. You'll notice the signs in your own energy too. Sudden waves of intuition. Random moments where your heart beats faster for no reason. Memories that hit you out of nowhere. A strange emotional pull you can't shake. These aren't random. They're reflections of the decision forming in their heart. The universe is syncing your energies, preparing you for the moment this person finally steps into their truth. And when they do, it won't be subtle. It will be a shift you feel instantly. Like the air changes. Like the emotional weight you've been carrying finally breaks open. Like something you've been waiting for without words finally arrives. Because this isn't just another decision. This is the moment that rewrites everything. Their choice is coming. And it's coming with a force neither of you can deny. My beloved child, the silence around your life right now isn't empty. It's loaded. Heavy. They may be experiencing a strong emotional buildup that feels hard to explain, like an internal pressure that doesn't fully match anything happening on the outside. This often happens when someone has been carrying unresolved feelings for a long time, while also trying to move forward or distract themselves. At some point, those emotions stop staying in the background and start coming forward more clearly, especially in quiet moments or when life slows down. It can feel like nothing is working the way it used to. Old distractions don't hold attention, and familiar routines don't fully take the edge off what they're feeling. This doesn't mean they are being, quote, pulled by anything outside of themselves, but rather that their mind is processing emotions they may have postponed or avoided. When that happens, people can feel uncertain, even restless, as they try to understand what they truly want, or what matters to them now, compared to before. It's also common for memories or thoughts of someone to feel more frequent during this phase, not because of any external force, but because the brain naturally returns to emotionally significant connections when reflecting on change or regret. What they are going through is more about personal clarity forming slowly than a sudden, irreversible decision. Over time, this intensity usually settles as they begin to understand their feelings more clearly and decide how they want to move forward in a way that feels honest and grounded for them. A restlessness that doesn't let them sleep. A pressure that keeps tightening every time they think of you. They're imagining the future, not vaguely like before, but vividly, right down to details they never admitted to themselves. They're seeing what life could look like with you in it, and it scares them how natural it feels, how right, how unavoidable. And that's what's shaking them. Because for the first time, they're not afraid of choosing you, they're afraid of what happens if they don't. They're afraid of waking up one day with regret heavier than the fear they've been feeding. They're afraid of watching someone else step into the space they've been too scared to claim. And that fear is pushing them faster, harder, deeper into a decision they've delayed for too long. Right now, the universe is closing the gap between you and this moment. You'll feel strange emotional spikes. You'll think of them intensely at random times. You'll feel a pull in your chest for no logical reason. That's the energy between you tightening, preparing, aligning. Because when they finally choose, when they step toward you fully, without excuses, without hesitation, it's going to land in your life like a sudden shift, a moment that feels bigger than everything before it. Their decision is no longer a possibility, it's a countdown, a force that's already in motion. And when it reaches you, it will change the direction of your story in ways you've never imagined. This is the moment right before everything breaks open, and they're closer, so much closer than you think. My beloved child, what you're stepping into now is the most intense part of this entire unfolding. The energy has reached a point where pretending, ignoring, avoiding, none of it works for this person anymore. They're feeling a pull so strong that it's almost physical. Their chest tightens when they think of you. Their thoughts drift to you even in the middle of noise. Their emotions spike without warning. It's like every part of their inner world has turned toward you, refusing to look away. They're realizing that this decision about you isn't simply a choice, it's the moment their life branches into two versions, the one where they step into the truth of what they feel, and the one where they walk away and carry the weight of that regret forever. And that realization is shaking them awake more violently than anything else has in a long time. They're starting to understand just how deeply you've affected them. They replay your words, your gestures, moments you didn't even think mattered. They remember the way you made them feel grounded in a way nobody else ever has. They're realizing that you see parts of them nobody else took the time to notice, and that scares them, not because it's overwhelming, but because it's rare, precious, real. They're thinking about all the times they held back, all the chances they didn't take, all the moments where fear won over honesty. And now, they're confronting something they never wanted to face. Time is moving. Life is shifting. And if they don't act soon, they may lose the one connection their heart has never been able to silence. That pressure is becoming unbearable. It's pushing them toward a moment where staying silent is no longer an option. At this stage, you may feel as though everything around you is becoming more emotionally charged and interconnected, as if unseen threads are tightening and pulling different parts of your experience into focus. You might notice vivid dreams, waves of emotion that seem to rise without clear reason, or moments of sudden clarity that arrive unexpectedly and shift how you see a situation. Rather than treating these experiences as signs of something predetermined, it may help to view them as your mind and heart processing change in deeper ways, reorganizing thoughts, attachments, and expectations. Life transitions often feel intense from the inside, even when nothing external has fully arrived yet. What feels like alignment can sometimes be the natural result of reflection, distance, and emotional readiness converging over time. If someone is on your mind or connected to your thoughts, their actions and decisions will unfold in their own timing, shaped by their own clarity and circumstances, just as yours will be shaped by yours. What matters most is not predicting a fixed outcome, but staying grounded in your present awareness and emotional balance as things evolve. Moments of realization, when they come, tend to feel clearer in hindsight than in anticipation. Whether or not any connection deepens or shifts, your focus can remain on stability, patience, and honest understanding rather than certainty or expectation. In that space, you give yourself room to grow without pressure, and you allow life to unfold in a way that feels more steady, real, and sustainable for you over time. That perspective helps you move forward with calm clarity and grounded awareness today always.